We begin tonight in the swamp in D.C., where the White House is buzzing with activity. Look at this past 72 hours. President Trump announcing a successful strike against the leader of ISIS in Iraq. He then ordered multiple large-scale strikes, as I just mentioned, against the Houthi terrorists in Yemen, delivering a major blow to the Houthis, reportedly taking out top leadership there, while sending a very clear, unambiguous message to their benefactors in Iran. Are now coming to an end. At the very same time, Donald Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act to quickly deport dozens of violent criminal illegals in our country with deep ties to dangerous gangs like Tren de Aragua. As per usual, a far-left judge tried to intervene, but it was too little, too late. The illegals were already out of the country on flights to El Salvador, where they will be locked up in the country's massive prison system for what would be a fraction of the cost compared to a U.S. prison. And on social media, the White House commemorated the moment with the song Closing Time.
Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I know who I want to take me home.
Apparently, the band did not endorse the use of their song, and needless to say, Democrats, the media mob, they're not happy about any of it. They are now so deeply concerned with the violent Latin American gang members that Biden and Harris allowed into the country. Can't make it up, but take a look.
When you heard the president and his top aides talking about mass deportations, they over and over said, we're going to start with the most criminal among us, but we don't have any evidence of who the people really are and what their backgrounds truly are.
We can't trust this administration to actually use a scalpel, but instead they love to use a butcher knife on things. And so giving them this wide latitude to just kind of go across and just claim that anybody is anything is wrong.
And to think that people are now being sent there without due process, Anna, that part is definitely unprecedented.
You just got to keep your eyes open, y'all. Because if they can just come up and take somebody because they've made a decision that you're supposed to be that person, any one of us could find ourselves being deported to some country.
Don't give them any ideas, girl.
Actually, the commander-in-chief does have the right to deport them. That would be part of his job. And also, what about the safety of your family and loved ones over the non-existent rights of people that didn't respect our laws, border sovereignty, illegal immigrants? This brings us now to another hot mic drop moment from border czar Tom Homan, who had a simple but effective response to reporters obsessed with the 18th century Alien Enemies Act. Take a look.
What do you say to those who claim you're using a 200-year-old law to circumvent due process?
An old law? Not as old as the Constitution. We still pay attention to that, don't we?
Checkmate, Tom Homan. Make no mistake, President Trump is going to use every law in the book to protect you, the American people, expel criminal illegal aliens from our country. And by the way, that is exactly what the American people voted for. Donald Trump's approval numbers at an all-time high, even in the latest fake NBC News poll. The same poll showing the Democrats with an all-time low approval. Look at this. Just 27% of Americans have a positive or even somewhat positive view of the Democratic Party. And forget it, when it comes to members of Congress, they're in the low 20s. We see similar numbers from fake news CNN. Democratic Party's favorability is at 29%. That is 3 consecutive polls in the 20s. That is the lowest number since 1990. It is so bad that journalists over fake news CNN, even they are having a difficult time containing their shock and their horror. They're very upset. Take a look.
Are Democrats full of despair? All I have to say, Democrats, call your office. You know, we're March Madness times. Terrible, terrible, terrible. To quote the great Charles Barkley, view Democratic Party favorably. CNN SRS, look at this, 29%. NBC News, you want to go lower than that? How about 27%? Both are record lows, the lowest going back to 1992 in CNN polling, the lowest going back on record to 1990 in NBC News polling. The majority of Americans hold an unfavorable or negative view of the Democratic Party at this point. All I can say is I'm a big fan of the oldies, so I'm going to quote Chubby Checker, how low can you go?
How low can you go? Now, call it the Trump effect if you prefer, but the Democratic Party is officially a dumpster fire, and no one on the left can keep up with the speed of Donald Trump. Their heads are clearly spinning, and they are now turning on each other. And by the way, Chuck Schumer's days are officially, they may be numbered. We're going to have a lot more on that coming up. But first, back to the speed of Trump. Just this week, the two American astronauts, once trapped in space, they are now scheduled to return to Earth over the weekend. Elon Musk and his rocket successfully docking with the International Space Station, where the new astronauts met the stranded astronauts, and hopefully they will be home as soon as early tomorrow. Also tomorrow, Donald Trump is scheduled to speak with Vladimir Putin as the president now continues to negotiate peace. President Trump is also set to release the government's secret files on the assassination of JFK. We look forward to a deep dive into that. And border wall construction, we can report tonight, is also resuming after Donald Trump has now signed off on the first construction contract of this term. There will also be a major discussion at the White House on trade, taxes, manufacturing, and of course, DOGE is continuing their important work, now well over $100 billion in savings for you, the American taxpayer. And that is nowhere near a comprehensive list of what Donald Trump even has on his plate this week alone. But I am sure Democrats will keep themselves busy with a few lame protests, angry press conferences, bingo cards. There's no telling. Take a look.
There is now a member of the European Parliament from France who does not think the U.S. represents the values of the Statue of Liberty anymore. They want the Statue of Liberty back. So is President Trump going to send the Statue of Liberty back to France?
Absolutely not. And my advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German right now. So they should be very grateful to our great country.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.